The other day I was trying to set up a meeting, so a woman and I were back and forth on email, and at one point she joked that perhaps we should wait until we both had sorted through the mountain of emails in our respective inboxes before we got together. And I laughed, because this was not going to happen before we actually met, and yet, if I look around my desk, the pile of papers, if I think of all of the packages of photographs that are waiting to go into albums, if I think about the environment and global warming, if I think about all of the people who need help, that same feeling of being overwhelmed, of really being paralyzed, washes over me. And I think the question a lot of us ask is, so what do I do with this feeling? How can I start when that pile feels so big? So a few years ago, a friend of mine and I were going away. We were going away for the weekend. This was going to be like the girlfriend's getaway. Two of us in a car. We were flying out of an out-of-town airport, so we had a couple hours to drive. We were doing the park and fly situation. So we got there, and we got in our car, and we've been driving for a while, and it starts to rain. But not just like drizzle, but like that kind of a downpour where your windshield wipers can't go quick enough and we can hardly see. But we are determined to make it to the airport and to get there for our flight. So we're driving, two girls on the road, it's all good. We get to the park and fly, and we find our spot, and it's one of these remote park and flies. We've gotten this online coupon before so that it's cheaper. We find our spot, we park our car, and we go, and there's like a little shuttle bus that then drives you to the airport. And we leave our car, not a care in the world, to get onto the plane. And we go away, it's a great weekend. Now, while we're away, the temperature drops. And it drops below zero. But that's okay, we get on the plane, we get back, we get to the airport, we get on that shuttle that originally delivered us to the airport. The shuttle takes us back to the parking lot, and they go around and they go to the spot where our car is. The door opens, we get off, our luggage, the doors to the shuttle close, the guy drives away, and then we look at our car. And what had once been a car immersed in puddles of water is now a car frozen into water. So I'm talking about ice like halfway up the tires at this point, and we kind of look at each other. And we look at the car, and we look at the keys, and we think, okay, so there's got to be like a shovel in the car, right, to shovel ourselves out. So we open up the car, and we're kind of looking around. It's the beginning of the winter, not fully winter equipped yet. And so all I have in the trunk of my car is one of these little handheld scrapers to get the ice off the car. So we kind of look at each other, and we look at the car, and we do the only thing that, any reasonable person would do, which is to take that scraper and to start to chip away at one tire. And we're chipping away, little bits of ice flying in our face and around, and it becomes quite evident after a while that there is no way this car is getting out of the ice. And we look at each other, and we look at the ice chipper, and it's that moment of I can either break down crying now, or I could laugh. And we look at each other, and we let go, and we start to laugh. And in our laughter and the realizing of the ridiculousness of this situation of trying to get a car frozen into ice out with this little ice chipper, we look up and we look at each other and we're laughing, and I notice out of the corner of my eye that the shuttle that had dropped us off and seemingly gone into Never Never Land is coming and circling back. And we flag him down, and he comes, and he actually has a machine that, you should maybe have one of these in your car this winter that will melt you out. And he blows the heat, and it melts the tires out, and we're able to drive away. And I thought about that experience and how in life we feel that the task is too big, and we feel that I need to get myself out of it. And we take it so seriously, and we choose to sit down and to cry or to keep on chipping away with a tool that is really too small for a task that is so great. And yet when we let go, and we realize, I'm not running this show. There's got to be something else here. There's got to be a message here, a lesson, a hand of help. When we are able to shift our focus from that small problem and task in front of us and see the bigger picture, then there is a way out. And in fact, our sages teach us that it's not upon us to complete the task. That's not our job. We don't have to finish the task. But we're also not free to desist from trying. We've got to try. And so we see what seems like a tension. It's not my job to finish it, and yet I have to put some effort forth. And in that statement is actually an invitation to join in the work, to look at my car frozen into the ice, to look at that pile of emails, all of those photos that have a place to go, the laundry, the dishes, the meetings, the years of work ahead of me, and to say, I'm going to chip away at it one little bit at a time, and yet to know I'm not running the show. That running the show is in the hands of the Almighty. Finishing the job, not for me. And yet I have a beautiful piece to play in chipping away at that ice and getting my car out so it can go where it needs to go, so I can get where I need to go. But that can only happen when I look up, when I let go,